first, Margaret admitted, but then I came to love your family, despite everything. I thought I could protect both the truth and the people I'd grown to care about. She shook her head. I was wrong. Some truths refused to stay buried. Detective Ramirez, who had been listening intently, stepped forward. Mrs. Jen, that safety deposit box, we need to get it now. But Thomas Roosevelt II laughed, a harsh sound that cut through the chaos around them. You're too late. I already sent men to the bank. Whatever's in that box will be ash before you get there. Now it was Margaret's turn to smile. No, Thomas, it won't. She turned to Caroline. The key I showed Detective Ramirez. It's a fake. The real key has been in the one place no one would think to look. It's been in your possession all along. Caroline's hand flew to her throat, where a delicate gold chain disappeared beneath her soot-stained blouse. On it hung what everyone had always assumed was a decorative charm, a tiny brass key that Margaret had given her on her 10th birthday. You knew, Caroline whispered. You knew I would be the one to finally bring the truth to light. I knew you had your father's intelligence and your mother's conscience, Margaret replied. And I prayed that would be enough. The next few hours passed in a blur of activity. The bank key revealed not just Klein's diary, but a complete record of the Roosevelt family's deception, documents that Klein had carefully gathered before his disappearance, knowing that someday they would be needed. But it was what they found in the final pages of the diary that changed everything. Klein hadn't disappeared at all. He had been helped to escape by Margaret's father, given a new identity and a chance to track down his family in Europe. He had lived out his days in Switzerland, watching the Roosevelt Empire grow from afar, waiting for the right moment and the right person to reveal the truth. That person turned out to be his young friend's daughter, Margaret Chen. As the sun set on that explosive day, Margaret stood once again at her window in Sunset Gardens, but this time she wasn't alone. Caroline sat beside her, both of them watching as Roosevelt Tower's windows reflected the dying light. What happens now? Caroline asked softly. Now. Margaret turned to look at the young woman who had risked everything for the truth. Now we do what David Klein always intended. We find his living descendants and we return what was stolen from them. But that would bankrupt the family, Caroline said, though her tone suggested this wasn't